Hi guys, it's Molly with Soul School Spiritual Guidance and Healing. Thank you for being here with me today. Thanks for joining me on my channel. If you guys are interested in personal readings, or if I do happen to take this reading over into an extended, you can find all the information you need for that in the description box below. Welcome. Thank you guys for being here. I really wasn't planning on doing a reading, but I had a cancellation come up. And I said, why the heck? Why the heck not? Let's just go ahead and do this. All right. So this is actually my third take. Pardon me while I scratch my eye. I have a watery eye. You know that. It's just a part of me. All right. I've been all over the place trying to get this message pinned down that's coming in. And I'm being invited to just take a really, really, really deep breath and sit back and just kind of let the message come through. A lot of you guys know, as of today, I think today is the 17th of January, there's going to be a full moon in Cancer. Just a heads up, intuitives and empaths, like, I'm not saying everybody go hide under a blanket for the rest of the night. I'm just saying be very, very careful with your energy. Be very easy on yourself. You guys, hydrate yourself. Understand that you may, like, your dreams are gonna be wild. If you're an intuitive, your dreams are gonna be wild. All right, prepare yourself for that. Just let yourself do some sleeping, some sleep preparation, maybe some mindful breathing exercises. Maybe fall asleep to some really peaceful music, okay? Whatever you can do to kind of frame your dream experience. But definitely try to set some intentions, so whatever messages come to you in your dreams tonight, that you will be able to make sense of them in the morning, that you'll be able to recall them, or at least understand what the symbolism was trying to say to you, all right? Also, if you're an empath, be careful. Everybody's emotions are gonna be high right now. You're gonna be surrounded in your own, and you're gonna be soaking up those of anybody else around you. They're showing me that, like, the way that the full moon affects the tides, it's almost as if everybody's energy body or auric field is like at high tide right now, okay? So we're really splashing all over each other. If you guys want to protect yourself from that energy, then just focus on self-care. Ask for some space, take a bath, whatever it is that you need to do, okay? Charge your crystals. Whatever, charge some moon water. That's gonna be great for this water moon, okay? Whatever practices make sense to you, all right? But don't feel bad if you're not wanting to share your inner space with anybody else right now, okay? There is, of course, the Venus retrograde and the Mercury retrograde, and the message is coming through with that is Spirit's like, yes, this is very important, but these should really be almost like end pieces to processes that you guys, that many of us are already going through, where we're questioning our commitment to certain interpersonal relationships. Really, really beginning to look at the quality of those relationships. How do those relationships impact our energy fields and our energy bodies? And how can we keep, okay, all right. Pardon me while the messages come in. Okay. So the sign of Cancer rules the 4th house, which has to do with the home, all right? The moon, which is the planet associated with Cancer, has to do, of course, with our inner world, that which exists inside. So think about your home that you've got in here, separate from having an actual physical home. All right? Because if you have an actual physical home, every now and again, you should be looking around and saying, oh, we need to declutter. There are certain things here that are no longer useful to me. And Spirit's kind of advising many of us to do that with our relationships. Because as we evolve, there are certain relationships that resonate with us in the past that aren't going to. So you have to look at the quality of the communication in that relationship. Is it open? Is it honest? Does it allow for learning? Does it allow for growth? Does it allow for forgiveness? And you also have to look at the quality of emotion in that relationship. Does it help you to love who you are? And they're like, end of sentence. Does it help you to love who you are? Man, my nose is going crazy right now, you guys. Pardon me. Does it help you to love who you are? If you're in a relationship with a person or that has a dynamic that makes it feel like it's hard to love who you are, polite declaration comes out. And I love it because it's a crab, you guys. Look, it's a crab. You can move in whatever direction you need to accomplish your goals. It's time for you to get out there, claim what is yours, and stay in your power. Okay, this is actually like the third or fourth try for me filming this message, all right? So one of the messages that came through in a previous video, which is coming back now with this crab imagery, is they had me talking about a snail, though, in the last video, is that if you're a snail, right? If you're a crab, you walk around with your shell on your back. Your shell is your home, right? But since we're talking about this sort of inner unseen world that's ruled by the moon, your home is your energy body, okay? This makes sense. Many of us have learned how to protect our energy body by completely withdrawing from other people, just like I've advised you to maybe do during this Cancer full moon, all right? But there's a big message for us to start getting back out there. Whatever we have learned, the directions in which we've evolved, like it's time to get that out there on the streets, so to speak. Meaning, let's just get back there, out there and share ourselves with the rest of the world, okay? The challenge to that is, how do you take this beautiful shell that you've learned to keep clean and tidy and balanced and healthy and get out there and move around the world amongst everybody else's energy bodies that maybe aren't kept in check in the same way, all right? You can move in whatever direction you need to accomplish your goals. Claim what is yours and stay in your power, okay? So this has a lot to do with protection of your energy body. Knowing what is your energy versus what somebody else's. Because I tell you what, you guys, once you get there, it is obvious. Like somebody gonna come up to you with some bullshit and you're gonna say, oh wait, no, that's not mine. That's not mine. That's yours, and I need you to go ahead and take that back where it came from. You go ahead and hold on to that, okay? But it also really helps you to be very mindful in who you are choosing to have energy exchanges with and to what extent, to what depth, okay? Some of this has to do with the expectations that we place on our relationships. If somebody is showing you that they don't have their shell nice and tidy and cleaned up, don't be making room for them to come move into yours, okay? Convey your meaning. Reflect on the way you communicate with others and with yourself. Be sure to express thoughts and feelings from your heart and with respect and sincerity, all right? Now, I don't know what these white things are, but at the beginning, they're looking to me like pearls of wisdom, right? Okay, and why are they both spotted with white? They've got white. Okay. Wow, interesting. Okay, so it has to do with markings, all right? Now, markings, okay, and especially very bright colors like this are often assigned to other species that are just kind of like, don't really mess with me, right? But what both of these messages, because we have convey your meaning and polite declaration, all right? For some of you guys, if you're not at the perspective point that you should be at to begin speaking your boundaries clearly and firmly, then what's likely to happen with this Cancer full moon, and I'm talking about like the 28-day period that follows it, right? Is there some emotion that's gonna get turned up too loud? Okay, and it might not even be yours. It could be somebody else, that they come in with their emotions and it's too much, it's too loud, it's too invasive, get into your space, or your inability to speak a boundary, your fear to speak a boundary, and there's no judgment, you guys. That's the worst for me. I struggle with speaking my boundaries, all right? But when we're unable to speak those boundaries, what happens is the resentment accumulates until it gets to this point where almost there's like this explosion, there's this pushback, okay? So it's like, I don't know how else to explain it to you. It's like the moon is showing me, oh, I can do this. The moon is like, you know that I am capable of turning those emotions up to the point that they're almost uncomfortable. So, where is this Mercury retrograde happening? Is it in Aquarius? It's gonna move backward into Capricorn. Boom. Boundaries, 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 okay? Boundaries. Aquarius is a very free-flowing energy. Capricorn's got boundaries, okay? Now, let's go and look at that again. Because historically, right now we associate, we're all wobbly. Right now we associate Aquarius with Uranus. But before Uranus, what was its ruling planet? It was Saturn, okay? So it's not to say that Aquarius doesn't have boundaries. Aquarius wants to see beyond boundaries, right? But sometimes we still gotta have them. We still have to enforce them, okay? So don't be surprised if over the course of the next week, things that you're not speaking your boundaries about are going to begin to escalate. The emotion behind it's going to escalate. It's going to become too restrictive. And there's probably going to be, for some of you guys, it's a little bit of an outburst. Even if it's one that happens internally that really points out to you that it's time to change the way that you communicate boundaries to others, okay? Help appears in various ways. There is much support for you. Sometimes you may get so adrift that you forget to look to the support systems that are with you continually. I'm gonna tell you what, every time I see this, I think of guides. Because they're fish, right? Don't forget, you guys, just don't forget that your guides are all around you and they support you. And if there's ever anything that you are struggling with, pay attention to what you're asking your guides for, okay? Because I feel like they just want me to talk about this. Guides, if you got good guides, okay? And I'm talking about the opposite of good guides are like really evil negative entities that you don't want to be messing with, okay? Remember, I've said before, if it does not respect your free will, it's not working with the light, okay? But the law of free will is very, very important when it comes to your guides. Your guides can't hand over the decision-making process, right? Your guides respect your free will. And they know that if they just hand over certain answers to you, then that essentially is going to take away your ability to choose one path over another, okay? Something that I've been running into my guides with lately is they're like, just choose something, okay? So a lot of times when you go to your guides with questions, they come back with more questions. And the purpose of that is to get you digging deeper and deeper until you come to the conclusion, the decision that you really, really want to make. Okay? Should I cut this person out of my life or should I not cut this person out of my life? They're not going to say yes to that. Okay? Sometimes we want help from our guides, but what we're expecting is to not have to make the decisions for ourselves. And that's not an option, is what Spirit is saying, okay? Talk to your guides. Understand that they love you unconditionally. And they're always there for you. And if you ever make a decision and you're like, guys, I really need some confirmation, really need some backup, you'll see signs. Ask for signs, okay? Work through fears and don't let pride get in your way. Okay? That's very clear. Thank you, Spirit. The working through fears is a very, very watery energy. We know this. What subconscious fears taught you not to have boundaries or not to speak boundaries? Because you know you deserve to have those boundaries, right? Right? Speak them in a compassionate way. Okay, speak them in a compassionate way. And in a way that's compassionate towards yourself as well. Sometimes when we want to speak a boundary to somebody, we get into this like, oh, I just like this self-blaming energy. Or when you try to explain a boundary, first of all, we don't need to explain boundaries. No is a complete sentence, okay? But sometimes we feel compelled to explain boundaries and we end up doing it in a way in which we're putting ourselves down. And we got to get away from that, okay? We have to get away from that. We have to learn to speak boundaries in a way that honors ourselves, okay? Justice and new beginnings. Yeah. Yes. Yes. Here's the thing. I'm going to take a sip and I'll try to explain to you what's coming through to me right now. When I was much younger, as a single parent especially, I was very aware of the fact that there was somebody hearing my words and taking them as truth, okay? Whether they were eavesdropping on a conversation, right? Your child is always hearing your words and taking them as truth in some way, shape, or form. So it teaches you to be careful with your words, right? And same with your actions, okay? You're teaching somebody else how to be a person, okay? I found that to be so helpful that even when my child was grown, I kind of took that philosophy and I projected it onto the universe. And I'm all like, what if the words that I speak and the decisions that I make are teaching the universe the reality that I'm willing to accept? Right? Imagine that the universe is always listening. And even if you don't want to anthropomorphize the universe in that way, understand your energy body is always reflecting the vibration of the words that you speak and the decisions that you make. Okay? So once you begin to speak those boundaries, that is a moment in which justice is called to order. When you speak a boundary and you truly commit yourself to it, that's a decision being made. Not just about your interaction with a particular person, but it's a decision that gets sent up to the universe to say, this person's not dealing with this anymore, okay? You get to make the rules about what is just and what is right. Trust your own authority in that. Because what that does is it opens a portal to the beginnings that you are capable of laying foundations for at this time, the new projects, the new amazing things that you're able to accomplish and manifest. All depend on whether or not you are willing to speak this boundary or your boundaries in general moving forward. It's about truly committing to yourself on a daily basis. Okay? And sometimes, how do I say this? It's just, I guess what Spirit really wants to do is to come through and say, look, many of us have been conditioned to consider other people's opinions, feelings, happiness before our own. The bottom line is your ability to do your work in this world and to spread your light in the world depends on your ability to maintain your own energetic balance, right? Maintain mastery of your own energetic body, of your decisions and your actions in this world. And we have to get out of the habit of apologizing to other people for putting ourselves first. Because many times what those people need is an example of how to do that. Many of them just don't know. They just don't know. Okay? I don't think there's anything else coming out of this deck. This, by the way, is the Spellcasting Oracle cards. The Moonology Oracle deck was also out here. And then, of course, we started with the Whispers of the Ocean Oracle. I do feel like Spirit wants to talk to me about one very particular type of relationship where sometimes we need, I don't know, some of us need convincing about the fact that our boundaries are being violated. In other words, we've become complacent with giving up a particular piece of ourselves. And we got to figure out how to get that back. Spirit, what message do you have? So for some of you guys, this very much has to do with romantic relationships. Okay, because what happens so often is we convince ourselves that that's something that, how do I say this? If it doesn't work with this person, how long is it going to be before I find another person who's willing to love me, right? It's a scarcity mindset. It's a scarcity mindset. And so what happens is we find something that feels like the kind of love we want, and we just, boundaries melt away. And that's not strengthening the relationship. It doesn't strengthen the other person, and it doesn't honor you. Okay? Star family. And all paths lead home. Yeah, that's facts. Okay. Many of you guys, this has a lot to do with soulmates, okay? Okay, here's the thing. You came down here as two people for a reason. With two separate paths. Just because somebody is your soulmate doesn't mean that your role is to abandon your own path to help them along their own. That's actually quite disenabling, okay? You're taking away that person's ability to find their way home. Wow, look at this. Because see, there's this explosion. You see all the souls move away from the light source. And then this is like somebody who showed up. They found their way back home. But you're the first. You're the first. And you may be tempted to turn around and go gather up those other souls and bring them home. But no, baby doll, you can't take them off their path. You just got to be here. Let others see how you got there, right? But hold firm. Stay in that high vibration. You can't go back into the swamp to pull other people out. You got to wait till they get there on their own path. Okay, and the lessons that they're going to learn on that journey are so valuable to them. Okay, we can't take that away. Some of you guys are asking about a very specific soulmate relationship. I want to dig into that in an extended reading. If you are drawn to join me at that reading, the link to it is in the description box below. Otherwise, thank you guys so much for being here. I love you so much. Happy full moon, all right? Charge those crystals, get some moon water going, whatever it is that you need. But most of all, drink lots and lots of water and take really, really good care of yourselves. Okay, darlings? All right.